Hey everybody, it's Jay Ball here with Blue Jays Outdoors, and I wanted to take a quick minute. It's really hot out actually. I'm not fishing today. I'm actually working on the lawn, but I want to take just a quick minute because I got on the first frog bite of the year, which I did not expect to get on the frog bite this early in Michigan. It's like June, I don't know, first week of June, second week of June, something like that. And I've been trying to figure out, okay, what's going to make me different than everybody else out there making these kind of videos, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. I've just recently released my maple syrup video, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying those. But what I'm gonna do is you guys are gonna learn with me, because I am by no stretch of the imagination an expert when it comes to fishing. I am only been bass fishing for like 3 years, so I have a ton to learn. But what I wanted to show you guys today was my frog rod setup and what I use for frog fishing. Again, I'm probably doing things completely wrong, but I just want to explain to you guys what I saw yesterday that made me think about throwing a frog. And then I started to get bites on the frog. It really kind of jazzed me up because I love a good frog bite. So yesterday I was fishing a body of water, this local not far from where I live, and on the south end of the lake where there's lily pads, the water temp was about 78 degrees. On the north end of the lake, the water was 84 degrees. I didn't expect the water temperature to be that different, but it was. I didn't have any bites in the 78 degree water, but I had all of my bites in the 84 degree water. And when I pulled up on this lily pad flat on the north side first, I heard the bluegills popping. I could see a little bit of stuff going on the surface, and I'm like, man, those fish have just got to be hitting a frog. They got to be hitting top water with that warmer water. And guess what? They ended up, I didn't catch a ton, didn't catch any huge ones, but it was a good boost for me, because this lake that I've been to, the last 3 times I've gotten skunked. So big confidence boost for me. But here's my frog rod setup. So I've got my frog rod is this TP1 Speed Stick by Lew's. It's a 7'3" medium heavy power with a moderate tip. I really like this heavier rod with a moderate tip because I can really rip those fish out of there. I've got it paired with this Lew's Speed Spool. So this is the LFS version, and it's a 7.5 to 1 high speed gear ratio, so it works really good for getting those bass out of the lily pads. And then I use 65-pound braid, Power Pro braid, and I use it in the high vis yellow. Why is that? Because I like to see it. Sometimes later in the year I'll paint like the first, foot or so of this black with a black magic marker. I also use 65-pound test on my flipping setup for my heavy pitching rod, but I know guys will use 35-pound test, 40-pound test, but I really learned how to frog fish from a couple of my buddies down south in Alabama, so they use 65-pound test, and that's what I use. And I can tell you, a couple times yesterday, I'm glad I had that heavy braid, because some of these bass were way back up in the lily pads. My favorite kind of frog to use is these Lunker Hunters, these little micro guys. I call these the bite-sized versions. I've got bigger ones. I've got a whole box full of frogs right here. But this time of year, I really like to use the smaller frogs, because these are the size of frogs that are starting to pop out of the water. So these are what the bass are going to key in on. Later in the year, I'll throw a popping frog, or if it's really windy, I'll throw a popping frog. You've got all your traditional style popping frogs, your normal frog body baits, but one of my favorite frogs to throw later in the summer, you guys are not going to believe this, is a pink frog. So I actually made this pink frog from a white Lunker Hunter frog. So here's the original, okay? And here's the pink one. How did I do that? I used my Wiggly's soft plastic dye for my worms, and I dipped the frog in there to make a pink frog. Why am I throwing a pink frog? Because not a lot of people throw off-colored frogs. So these fish see all year long, all summer long, these paddle tail frogs here, these traditional frogs. So I like to throw a little bit smaller version. I can still cast it pretty far with the way I've got the reel set up. But I have a lot of success on these smaller frogs, and I know guys like, you got to use a big frog to catch big fish, and it's probably true, but I've gone behind a lot of people that are throwing bigger frogs, bigger topwater baits, and throwing this little itty bitty, like I said, I call it bite-sized version, and I've had some pretty good success with it. So yeah, that's pretty much my frog setup. And again, we're going to be learning together. So I'm sure there's things I'm doing wrong that, you know, eventually I'll learn. I'm sure someone's going to make a comment on this post like, oh, you're using too heavy a braid for fishing in Michigan, or you got to use the big frogs. Hey, I'm all for constructive criticism. So really appreciate you guys watching this post. If you guys leave some comments down in the comment section about, you know, what I should be using or some of your experiences, I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to Blue Jays Outdoors. Follow me on Instagram at blue_j_maple_maple syrup, or Blue Jays Maple Syrup. Just do a search for Blue Jays Maple Syrup, you'll find me. And again, showing gratitude is the quickest way to change your attitude, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks. First frog fish of the year, and he choked it. Second frog fish of the year, and they are choking it. Gosh, so that bite. Give him an A for effort.